The history of Egypt spans over 5,000 years, from the early prehistoric settlements of the Nile Valley to the modern-day Republic of Egypt. Throughout its long and complex history, Egypt has seen the rise and fall of numerous powerful civilizations, including the Old Kingdom, the New Kingdom, the Ptolemaic period, and the Islamic era. The earliest known evidence of human habitation in Egypt dates back to around 5000 BCE, with the establishment of small farming communities along the Nile River. These early settlements eventually grew into larger towns and cities, and by around 3100 BCE, the first dynasty of pharaohs had united Upper and Lower Egypt into a single kingdom. Under the pharaohs, Egypt saw the rise of a powerful centralized state, with a highly developed system of writing, agriculture, architecture, and art. The Old Kingdom saw the construction of the Great Pyramids of Giza, while the Middle Kingdom, circa 2055 to 1650 BCE, saw the expansion of Egypt's borders and the development of a more democratic form of government. The New Kingdom saw the height of Egypt's power and wealth, with the conquest of neighboring territories and the establishment of a vast empire stretching from Nubia in the south to Syria in the north. The reign of pharaohs like Hatshepsut, Thutmose III, and Ramses II saw the construction of many of Egypt's most famous monuments, including the Temple of Karnak and the Valley of the Kings. The decline of the New Kingdom saw Egypt fall under the rule of various foreign powers, including the Persians, the Greeks, and the Romans. The Nubians, also known as the Kushites, were a powerful kingdom located in what is now modern-day Sudan. They first rose to prominence around 800 BCE and were known for their military prowess and advanced civilization. Throughout history, the Nubians and the Egyptians engaged in numerous conflicts, with each civilization attempting to exert its dominance over the other. In the 8th century BCE, the Nubians briefly conquered Egypt and established the 25th dynasty, also known as the Nubian dynasty. This period was marked by a blending of Nubian and Egyptian cultures, with Nubian pharaohs adopting Egyptian customs and traditions. However, the Nubians were eventually expelled from Egypt by the Assyrian Empire in 656 BCE, and Egypt returned to native rule under the 26th dynasty. The Ptolemaic period saw the rise of the last dynasty of pharaohs, who ruled Egypt as a province of the Hellenistic world. This era saw the construction of the famous Library of Alexandria and the flourishing of Greek culture in Egypt. In 641 CE, the Arab conquerors led by General Amr ibn Alas invaded Egypt, bringing Islam to the country and establishing the Arab Caliphate. Over the next few centuries, Egypt saw the rise and fall of various Islamic dynasties, including the Fatimids, the Ayyubids, and the Mamluks. During the Islamic period, Egypt saw the construction of many of its most famous mosques and religious institutions, including the Mosque of Ibn Tulun, the Al-Azhar University, and the Mosque of Muhammad Ali. The Mamluk Sultanate, 1250 to 1517, saw the establishment of a powerful military aristocracy, who ruled Egypt and Syria with an iron hand. In 1517, Egypt was conquered by the Ottoman Turks, who established a provincial government in Cairo. The Ottoman period saw the construction of many of Egypt's most famous landmarks, including the Citadel of Cairo and the Muhammad Ali Mosque. During this era, Egypt also became a major center of trade and commerce, with its location on the Red Sea and the Nile River making it an important hub for the exchange of goods between Africa, Asia, and Europe. The modern history of Egypt began in 1805 CE when Muhammad Ali Pasha seized power and established a dynasty that would rule Egypt for more than a century. Muhammad Ali Pasha, an Albanian officer in the Ottoman army, was appointed governor of Egypt in 1805 and quickly consolidated his power. During his reign, Muhammad Ali implemented a series of reforms aimed at modernizing Egypt's economy and military. He established a modern system of taxation and land ownership, built factories and infrastructure, and developed a modern army modeled after European armies. Muhammad Ali's reforms were instrumental in making Egypt a regional power and transforming the country into a modern state. In 1869, the Suez Canal was completed, connecting the Mediterranean and Red Seas and transforming Egypt into a major transportation hub and center of commerce. The canal was a major achievement for Egypt, but it also made the country increasingly dependent on foreign powers and vulnerable to their influence. In 1882, British forces invaded Egypt, citing the need to protect the Suez Canal and British interests in the country. Egypt became a British protectorate, and although it retained a degree of autonomy, it was effectively controlled by the British until the mid-20th century. During the early 20th century, Egypt saw the rise of nationalism and the struggle for independence. In 1922, Egypt became an independent monarchy under King Fuad I, but the country remained heavily influenced by British interests. In 1952, a group of military officers led by Gamal Abdel Nasser overthrew the monarchy in a coup and established a republic. Nasser's government pursued a policy of Arab nationalism, seeking to unify Arab states and oppose Western imperialism. In 1956, Nasser nationalized the Suez Canal, prompting a joint invasion by British, French, and Israeli forces. However, the invasion was unsuccessful, and the canal remained under Egyptian control. Nasser's rule was characterized by socialist policies and authoritarianism, but he was also a popular leader who inspired Arab nationalist movements across the region. After his death in 1970, Anwar Sadat took power and pursued a policy of economic liberalization and reconciliation with the West. Sadat signed a peace treaty with Israel in 1979, which was a controversial move that led to his assassination by Islamic extremists in 1981. Hosni Mubarak succeeded Sadat as president and ruled Egypt for 30 years, during which time he maintained a close relationship with the United States and pursued policies aimed at modernizing the country's economy. However, Mubarak's rule was characterized by corruption, repression, and human rights abuses, and in 2011, he was overthrown in a popular uprising that became known as the Arab Spring. The Arab Spring ushered in a period of political instability and uncertainty in Egypt, with the military ultimately seizing power in a coup and establishing a new government. The current president, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, came to power in 2014 and has pursued policies aimed at stabilizing the country and combating terrorism. However, his rule has been criticized for its authoritarianism and human rights abuses.